6. Krii. Sharn took his time getting back to camp. Tenka followed in silence. When they passed her tribe's camp, she said, "Goodbye," and disappeared into the darkness. He arrived at his village's cook fire, tired and hungry. Kual'ii showed up a moment later as Sharn lifted the lid of a pot to look inside. "Durdin wants to see you," Kual'ii said. "Now?" "Yeah, I think so. Save me some food, will you?" "No promises, I am hungry from battle." Sharn rolled his eyes as he walked away. He did not want to be yelled at by Durdin, but he was also dying to know why the big man was mad at him. The grass shimmered orange and gold as the sun rose behind him, putting a quick end to a short spring night. Soon there would be no more sunsets or sunrises. "Durdin," Sharn said when he found the man, "Kual'ii said you wanted to see me." Durdin sat on a big rock hunched over a bowl of stew. He waved Sharn over, gestured to the nearby fire and the big pot of stew sitting on the coals. Another pot contained warm corn cakes. Sharn did not need further invitation. He scooped out a bowl full of vinli stew and a block of corn cake, and sat on the ground near Durdin. After a few minutes of silence, Durdin said, "Why were you just standing there while your people fought?" Sharn felt his face grow hot. "I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to stop it. I tried pulling Likuyo away, but he broke free and went back to fighting." "You didn't think you should join and fight with your brothers?" "I didn't want to fight. I didn't even know why they were fighting. It seemed meaningless. I don't want to die a meaningless death, or any others of our tribe to die one either." He set down his bowl, looked Sharn in the eyes. "You are wise beyond your years, Sharn Nolwen. That is why I hear you will soon go live among the Minkera, to better understand their ways and their tongue, so we can learn how to live with them and keep them away from our lands. You will make a great chief one day, but if you are to lead your people, you can never, ever stand idly by while they fight or while they die. Never. I don't care if you join them or if you find a way to stop them, but you must always be ready to jump in and do something. If you stand by, doing nothing, while others fight or die, you might as well be dead because you will be no fit chief to anyone. Understand?" Sharn nodded, finished his food in silence, and left. The great gathering of tribes continued for 2 hands of days, mostly without incident. And despite Tenka the Razi girl's prediction and the worst fears of the Kual'ii, Kerntayan did not die right away and seemed to be getting better. He had the best healers and medicine people from their tribe, as well as several from other tribes who wished to give their help in preventing a war from breaking out during the festivities. On the 7th day, the people of all the tribes gathered on the east side of the mound, where a speaker of the neutral Scrimchee tribe announced a peace treaty between the Kual'ii and the Kotai. Elders from both sides made speeches and talked about the provisions of the treaty, where the Kotai would be free to hunt and roam, and where the Kual'ii would do the same. Many gifts were exchanged between them. That night, a celebration ensued which lasted for 3 more days. More gifts were exchanged between tribes, as well as food and drink. Stories were told and songs sung. Dances were performed and taught. Men of different tribes smoked and carved wood and hunted together. Women talked and wove baskets, herded children, and cooked. Despite what Sharn understood about the differences in men's and women's roles among the clans of Tenka's tribe and some of their southern neighbors, their men seemed to relish hunting and playing games with the men of the other tribes. And their women, though hesitant at first, fell easily into conversation and basket weaving and talk of child rearing with the women of the other tribes, always with spears by their sides and knives strapped to their bodies. Sharn roamed between the camps, experiencing all these things. He met a Kote man, older than himself, who clapped him on the back and raised a cup and said, "To peace." As if we had not been at war with each other for generations, Sharn thought. Underlying all the festivities and even the peace treaty was constant talk of the Easterners, the Minkaera, the Dotang, the Epilo, and all the other tribes from across the sea who had been steadily streaming onto the shores of these lands for the past several generations. They were the most pervasive of all topics, and everyone had an opinion on how to deal with them. Some thought tough aggression was the only way to keep the foreigners at bay. Some thought generosity and friendship would pave a way toward peaceful coexistence. Many feared for their lands and their people, but also valued the Easterners as trading partners, since they provided many things which had not been available before their arrival in these lands. The ones who had the least interaction with them wished only to leave the Easterners to themselves and to be left alone by them, but few who knew the Easterners gave any real credence to that possibility. Once the first tribe packed up to leave, it was not long before all the tribes were underway. The journey home was both sad and joyous. Sharn knew he was leaving something behind which he would probably never experience again, but he was excited to get back to lands he knew and back to the normal routines of his life. Two things weighed on his mind, though. One was a feeling of shame for not having tried harder or done more at the first night's fight. He could not get Durdin's words or look of disgust out of his mind. Second was Sharn's knowledge of his forthcoming journey to go and live with the Minkaera for the rest of the season. He felt more dread about it than anything he had ever before had to do, even his right of manhood, which he had been very anxious over. When they finally reached the village, Sharn's family found their roundhouse occupied. Sharn's sister, Tuwitso, was first to enter. She screamed and ran back out. "What is it?" his mother asked. "Someone is in there sleeping." "Who could be in our home?" Sharn's mother asked. "Sharn, go see. Ready your spear. Kuchio, go with him." Sharn nodded, pulled the strap of his spear over his head. Kuchio, who had been walking with Sharn, did the same. They entered the darkness of the roundhouse, hunched low to get through the doorway, and saw the sleeping figure pushed tight against the wall of the house. "Who are you?" Sharn yelled. "What are you doing here?" The sleeping figure bolted up, wide-eyed. Then he smiled. It was the strange boy from the forest, pale face. "You," Kuchio said. "Shall we kill him here or take him outside first?" "We are not going to kill him," Sharn said. "He's harmless. Well, mostly harmless. Also, I think my mother was beginning to consider him part of the family before the others came and took him away. She was not happy about father and uncle handing him over so willingly." "Fine," Kuchio said. "Can I at least knock the smile off his face?" "Come, pale face," Sharn said, gesturing for the stranger to follow him out of the roundhouse. They walked out and Sharn said, "Look who's back." His mother threw her arms up and ran to the strange boy and hugged him tight. Then she held him at arm's length and looked him over. "You are too skinny, just like before. Do your people not eat? Also, you are dirty. Sharn, take him to wash up while I see what we still have to eat. Beans and corn, if nothing else." The strange boy did not stop smiling the rest of that day. He happily followed Sharn and Kuchio to the river to swim and clean up. Happily ate the little bit of food Sharn's mother found to cook and portioned out for him. Then happily tried to learn words from Sharn by pointing at different things and saying something which Sharn interpreted as, "What do you call that?" Spring turned to summer. Some men from Durdin's village who were on their way to trade with the Minkaera stayed with them for a while. When Sharn asked about Kirntayin, they slowly shook their heads with downcast faces. Sharn felt a stab of grief. Tenka had been right after all. She knew he could not survive that wound. Pale Face, who finally told them his real name, which sounded like Krii, learned fast and with enthusiasm. By the time Sharn had to leave, Krii understood most things and could speak in halting Kual'ii. "You leave now?" Krii asked as Sharn packed up his few possessions. "When the sun is low in the sky and the air is cool, I will go with my father and Kuchio and a few others." "Why?" Krii had asked this a few times already, but still did not seem to understand. "The Minkaira build settlements on our land, give us poor trades, and do not share anything they have with us except their sicknesses. They treat us badly, but we cannot fight them because they are too many and more come from across the ocean." Sharn saw confusion on Krii's face. "The big water," he added. "So my father and the tribe want me to go live in Cortestown, among the Minkaira there, to learn their language and become friends with them." "Like me, here," Krii said. Yeah, I guess it will be similar. You are learning our language and becoming friends with us, but you are Linendrali, so there is no hope of our two peoples making trades or becoming friends." When Krii had learned enough words in Kual'ii, the village was finally able to understand where he came from, but at first they did not believe him. His people, the Linendrali, were a myth, told to scare children into behaving themselves. Most people did not think they were real, or if they were, only as spirits, not flesh and blood men and women. Legends told of a mysterious and reclusive group who lived underground, inside one of the mountains on the east coast. They possessed great magic and could do wondrous things, but since they never ventured out of their mountain home, their existence or non-existence made no difference to the Kual'ii Dane or any other surface-dwelling tribe, except in stories. Yet now they had one of these mythical spirits living amongst them, and it was real. It ate and drank and performed all the other bodily functions of a real person, which meant the legends might be true after all. "When you back?" Krii asked. "After the sun leaves the sky and takes its first rest at the end of summer." Krii seemed to know nothing of seasons or the sun or moon or stars or clouds or rain or any of it. He always kept his hood up and often shaded his eyes, even when the sun was hidden by cloud. He preferred to sleep during the brightest part of the day and be awake when light was dimmest. "It will not be too long," Sharn said. That evening, when the sun was low in the sky and the air was cool, Sharn said goodbye to his mother and his siblings and Krii and all the rest of the village who was not going with him. As they walked away, Sharn's father, Narateak, looked at him and said, "The story of your life will have many parts. Today, one part of the story ends and another begins. Do not worry. It will be a good story."